Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my music theory series. Earlier we discussed how to use this formula to create a scale in a particular key. We were playing in the key of C, so starting there we would follow these intervals of 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And that's a scale. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is really the same kind of thing. We're going to talk about modes. A lot of people seem to think modes are mysterious in some way. They don't really make sense, but they're really not that complicated. It's actually just a scale, the exact same scale or series of notes that we just played, only we're starting the pattern in a different place. So we would actually just shift over to the right a little bit and start on a new first note, and everything would just the first note would loop back around and everything starts over again with a new pattern. But this is designed so that we're actually hitting the exact same notes in the series, just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So now we're starting on D. This is going to create a Dorian Mode. So starting on D, you see now the pattern says 2 is the next step. So a whole step ahead brings us to E on the 12th fret. And then we have a 1 next. So we go on from the major second onto a minor third. Now, earlier we discussed how a major third is 4 frets above tonic. This is a minor third because it's 3 frets above tonic. From there, we go a whole step to our perfect 4th, and a whole step to our perfect 5th. Here's our power chord in D. Starting at 5th, we go up a whole step to a major 6th. And this very colorful note is what I really like about this particular mode. You'll see why once we bring it up to speed. From there, a half step to a minor 7th, which means it's not one note behind the next tonic, but rather 2 notes behind the next tonic. It's no longer called a leading tone. It's only a leading tone if it's a major 7th. So from the minor 7th, we go 2 more to our final destination, the next D note. So here's our whole Dorian mode. We have D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And now, since D is our tonic, that is the only reason why the same set of notes sounds completely different to us, because we're now starting and ending on a different note of the same scale. That's why it's a mode, not a scale itself. And since a lot of people don't learn modes, they only learn the minor and major scale, their music lacks variety. They won't really know how to capture that kind of sound. But now you do. This is a new scale for you to practice and go up and down and get good at. So, using that, we now move on to the next mode of the scale, which means we're simply starting and ending on a new tonic. Tonic is now E, and this is a Phrygian mode. This is a very dark sounding mode, and it's great for a lot of modern metal music. So, looking at this formula here, should be able to create the scale. We see that from tonic we go up 1 fret. This is now actually a minor second, our first minor second so far. We've only had major seconds so far, which is 2 frets ahead of tonic, but this one is 1 fret ahead, giving us a minor second. And we have a minor third, which is a whole step ahead of the minor second, yet it is 3 frets above tonic. Then we have another perfect fourth, another perfect fifth, and then we have a minor sixth for the first time, which is a half step above the fifth. From there we go up a whole step to the minor seventh, and then again a whole step to our tonic. So this mode sounds very similar to the minor scale again, but it's a little different, and you can get a totally different mood if you play in this key than what many people are used to playing. So give it a shot. Okay, so from there we go to our mode that starts in F. This is actually my favorite of the modes, and you'll see why soon. It's very interesting. There's a difference in the pattern so far than what we've seen. So you see here we have three sets of whole steps right in the beginning of the scale. So let me show you why that's weird. Starting on F, we go to the next note, G, which is a whole step, and then to our major fourth, just 2 frets ahead, that's an A. But then from there, we have another whole step to bring us to B. But look, when we compare that to the tonic, we're no longer playing a perfect fourth. This is one of the instances where we don't have a perfect fourth. Sometimes you won't have a perfect fifth, and this creates for a very, very interesting sound. It's called a tritone, which we'll talk about in a little more detail in future lessons. So from there, just to give you a taste of just the bottom half of that. It sounds very mysterious, very spacey, but you'll see once we complete the top half of the scale, it really relieves that tension as you approach the top. So from there, we go on to the note C, which is a half step ahead. Now we have a perfect fifth. So we still got that power chord in the scale to make it sound solid. And from there, we go a whole step to D, and another whole step to E, both major sixths and major sevenths. And then we're at our leading tone, which leads back into F. And that's our Lydian mode. So, after that, we have the Mixolydian mode. Again, we're just progressing to the next series in the pattern, starting now on the G string. This is called the dominant mode of the C major scale because dominant means fifth. That simply means that this is the fifth of the C major scale. So now we're starting on G, Mixolydian, and it's actually the exact same as the major scale, only there's one note changed, and that's the seventh. We no longer have a leading note at the top of the scale. It's now a minor seventh, which is why this scale is a little interesting because it has a major sounding bottom half, but then a very minor sounding top. And then, finally, the scale you all know is a mode starting on A. This is actually the minor scale. This pattern starts with a major second, whole step above tonic, and then a minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, and then tonic.